£500 doesn't buy you many cars these days, but it has just bought me this Nissan Leaf. And yes, it's on a trailer, but it's not because of battery fault. I'm going to go through in this video exactly what's wrong with it. And I know the owner's had this car since brand new, so I know exactly what trouble this car's had in its 10 years and 160,000 miles. My name's Richard, this is RSEV, and this is about, is an old electric car still any good? You're about to find out. So we did some videos recently with this Model 3 that's done 216,000 miles, and it's great, no problem at all. But what does £500 get you? And that was in 3 years, whereas this is over 10 years old. So it's interesting to see an electric car which is now older, as well as having a few miles under its belt. And yes, I bought this for just £500. It's worth more, but it's got a broken coil spring, so I had to go out of a trailer and go and get it. But the broken coil spring, that's it. The motor and the battery, by the way, are fine. I'll talk to you in this video about this battery degradation and real world range. That will come up. But other than that, it's a fully operational working car I bought for £500 from the owner that's had it, I said from new, but it's actually from nearly new. It had 1,200 miles on it. So in this video, I'll go through the maintenance costs, exactly what this car has ever had done in its lifetime. But before we do all that, let's have a quick look around it. We haven't even washed it yet. It actually is quite a nice colour, isn't it, this grey? There's a bit of oxidisation on the wheels, but okay, that's fine. We can maybe repair them or just leave them as it is. The front's really good. It's not really got any issues. There's a little bit of paint peel there and a few little stone chips and a bit of peeling on the badge, but coming round, it looks fine. It will wash really well. We haven't even washed this yet. The panels are quite good. I mean, you're going to find one or two little marks, but this is a car for 500 quid, and actually it's in pretty good condition, isn't it? Okay, there's a bit of flat paint there. Is that just dirt? That's mainly dirt, I think, actually. It's going to clean up really well. Now, this is a car which has got 360 cameras, obviously Bluetooth, sat nav, they've got leather seats, they're heated seats. They're heated in the front as well as in the back, and the steering wheel's heated, Bose stereo, loads of spec. It's a Tecna. Keyless entry, and in here is all good as well. I'll get it in a minute and see if it feels strong. But the only bit of wear really is this seat bolster there. Apart from that, that's it. So that's a quick run through of its condition. It's going to clean up really well. Maybe we'll refurb the wheels, maybe we won't bother, but that is a cheap car. So a Nissan Leaf's quite unusual in showing how many bars of battery health it has. And this has 9 bars out of its original 12. So it's got about 75% of its capacity and usable capacity remaining on it. So it's lost a few miles of capability, but this is only a 24 kilowatt hour Leaf. It never had the best range in the world to begin with. And actually, as it was charged up a couple of days ago and it's been shuffled around a bit, it shows 62 miles of range. But if I put the air conditioning on now, kill mode, let's make sure the aircon's running cold in my £500 car. There we go. Yes, cold air conditioning. Here it comes. That drops to 57 miles of range. And the owner has verified. He said, well, he's quite happy it does about 60 miles on it. If it's really cold, then it can be a little bit less because you've got the heater going and it uses energy. So it has a usable range of, let's say, 50, 60 miles. Now, that won't suit everybody if you're travelling up and down the country. Yes, it has rapid charging, but it's a bit slow, really, by modern standards. But loads of people don't do big mileage. You commute 20 miles to work and then back again, you drop the kids to school, you go to the shops, you just do 2 miles a day. And we know that modern diesels certainly don't like doing short journeys because the DPF filters clog up and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, ultimately combustion engines don't like all those little short journeys. So if you are doing that, an electric car is ideal for that kind of thing. You want a car that just leave at the train station when you commute. Something reliable, something sturdy. Well, this is it. But inside here is not scrimping. It's got sat nav, Bluetooth, climate control, working air conditioning. I've got heated seats, heated steering wheel. Even the back seats are heated. See, I've got a little toggle switch here and here. It's got all the spec and toys that you need. It's actually in pretty good condition in here. Solid. This is like that other guy on YouTube who tries to break stuff. You know, in here it's absolutely, car from granite. So can it handle high mileage? Absolutely. What's it lost? It's lost a few miles of range. That's it. Apart from that, it seems to drive perfectly well, no problems. It just is about how you use it, and that is, don't drive more than 60 miles a day is probably the best advice. Occasionally it can do a longer journey, just do some rapid charging. It's just not going to be the most rapid. Can you imagine how many times it's had this done in its lifetime? 10 years, 160,000 miles. Well, there's a few more, but it's just fine, no problems at all. Right, let's talk about how much it's cost to charge. So 157,000 miles worth of driving in an electric car. So if you've got a combustion car, you can probably work out how much each tank of petrol costs you. I mean, £80 a tank, and you seem to put that in twice a month and it costs a fortune. Well, with electric cars, this has been charged at home every night, actually to 100%. The owner has, like most people with electric cars, cheaper overnight electric rates. So it's 7 pence per kilowatt hour. Basically, I did the maths and I worked out this has cost about 2,900. That's rounded up to say £3,000 worth of electric or fuel costs for this car in its 10.5 years, 160,000 miles. So £3,000 and that's it. I think that's pretty good. What would a combustion car cost? Well, multiple times more than that. Do some maths yourself if you like, but it's a significant amount more. And you've got the convenience of just charging up at home, not having to go to petrol stations every day, which I think is really good. Let's talk maintenance costs. So we have to replace this coil spring here. That's at £30 plus the labour. Our garage next door will do that. No dramas at all. What else has this car ever had? Well, it's had the lower front arms, the suspension bushes, like any car to be honest, wear out, and so you replace the lower front arms. This has had one each side, so a pair of lower front arms. Again, they're only cheap, like £30–40 each plus the labour to fit it. It's had a 12-volt battery replaced in its life. They still have a small 12-volt to power electrical systems as well as the bigger high voltage battery. And then it's had the servicing at Nissan, which really is changing the cabin filters. Not a great deal of servicing, so it's kind of £80 for a minor one, and the following year you have a major one, which is about £110–120. So it's had that in its lifetime. So it's had about £1,000 worth of servicing, and then it's had a couple £100 for suspension, lower arms, 12-volt battery, called it 100 quid, and then we've got to replace the coil spring here, 30 quid plus the labour. That's it, by the way. Yeah, that's it. So no clutches, no exhaust, no cam belts, no water pumps, no oil changes, no spark plugs. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? So it's had very, very little costs for maintenance, and it's never broken down on the owner, never gone wrong. It's just maintenance bits. Even with the broken coil spring here, I drove home in it, it still moves around fine. Obviously we need to fix it to drive it properly, but this car is fully operational, working, and I had nothing go wrong and never broken down. So I drove this car home back in this morning, and actually it's just fine to drive. Okay, the plastics are harder than some other cars, but to drive it's actually still relevant, it's nice. It actually handles quite well, it rides quite smoothly, there's no rattles, no squeaks. It's quite competent when you turn it in. Actually, it's just definitely all right. I think one of the things that helps with it not feeling like it's mileage, and I've seen this with other electric cars as well now, is imagine like in a combustion car where you'd have like a gear stick and a clutch, and that will kind of starts just getting more sloppy and feeling worn, or if it's an auto that it just doesn't change gear quite the same as it used to, and all those mechanical bits, you kind of somehow get more of a sense of feeling of the wear in it. And because you don't have all those friction moving parts in an electric car, you just don't get that same feeling of wear. So even when with a few miles, okay, it's lost a little bit of its range, but actually it still feels good to drive. It doesn't feel worn or tired. You've got the same performance as when it was new, same efficiency as when it was new. It just doesn't go quite as far, but far enough depending on what you want it for. So this might be my last trip. I popped down our local tyre centre earlier, and the guy at the tyre centre, it's exactly a case in point. And he wants to buy this from me. He's made me an offer of a couple of grand. I can just give him the keys as it is now. It's a profit. May as well take it. It's exactly the case in point. He's got a nice enough car, but he says he lives 2 miles from work. He's getting in his car, doing 2 miles, doesn't even get warm, then he's at work. There's no bus route, and it's just a bit far for him to cycle or to walk, and you know, cycling in the rain in this country isn't much fun. So he just wants a little cheap electric car just to go to and from work. So it's exactly a case in point. So this car, I think, might already be sold and gone. So are older or higher mileage electric cars any good? I think the answer is yes. They're proving themselves now. A lot of skeptics out there, a lot of criticisms, a lot of people assuming you've got to replace the big battery after 3 years and no good for longevity. Well, I think we're seeing the proof now. They can take high mileage with very low running costs. They can be older and high mileage with some very low running costs. Think about the amount of moving parts there are in a combustion vehicle. All those bits moving, all those friction parts, all that wasted energy, and yet the maintenance and running costs of an electric car is so much better because there's far less moving parts. You can charge it from home using cheap overnight electricity. Running costs are lower, reliability is better, they're nicer to drive, they'll cost you less to run. So as long as even a car like this, which okay has a limited range to it, but it's still perfectly usable if that range is suitable for your needs, yeah, it's just fantastic. So do electric cars stand a test of time and mileage? I think they've proven themselves, and I think yes. What do you think? Put your comments down below. Always look forward to reading comments, so please do comment. Make sure you are subscribed with the bell icon tick for notifications, and then I can see you on the next video very soon. Thank you for watching. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed and supported us so far, and we'll see you in the next one.